Hello once again. If you're new to this channel, this is Linda and I share on everything life, Christian beliefs, country living, recipes, whatever. You name it, I do it. For as long as you're a mother, you do anything. It's been a little while since I have uploaded a video on YouTube and I wish I could give you something as an excuse, but the only excuse I have is that life has been truly hard. And I know I speak for a lot of people when I say life has become difficult. And so we took some time off, just trying to zone in and realize what it is that we want, what it is that we want to spend our time and energy on, what it is that desperately needed our concentration as a family. And for myself as a woman, what it is that I needed to feel whole again, to feel like I'm going to be okay. But then again, sometimes it's really just good to take a break, reroute, and start again. And that's all that one needs. So in this video, while I make some apple and strawberry jam and some body butter, I'm going to share a little bit of what is happening in my head and in my life, and perhaps one or two lessons that I have learned in this period of absence. If I must be honest, February was not gentle with me at all. It stretched me in ways that I did not expect. It exposed things in my heart that I didn't even know were there. It tested my faith in not so loud, dramatic ways, but in quiet, personal battles. And those are the most painful. Realizing just how imperfect you are, especially as a mother, will not always be the most comfortable discovery you make, especially when you look at your role as a mother and you think you're the one to shape your child's character at this tender age. What are they learning from me? Am I giving them characteristics that are Christ-like? And if I'm not, what am I raising them to become? Yet, even in those battles, here I am, making jam, whipping body butter, creating something that I'd probably call sweet and nourishing. It's funny how God works, isn't it? Sometimes He allows you to be pressed like fruit, not to destroy you, but to bring what was always inside. And to be honest with you, I think if not all, most of my business ideas have always come out at a time when I was in a strait financially. And it always puzzles me how it's almost as though the Lord waits for me to go right up till the end and then sparks up this inside of me. Yeah? But then again, I ask myself, did He really just spark it up from nowhere? Or did I always have it inside? There was just way too much noise, or I just had so much of the other things that I didn't realize this was inside of me. Now, these are the wondering questions that swirled around my mind as I went through life, difficult as it was in this past month. Here is an uncomfortable truth. Jam can only become jam after crushing. Oil only flows after pressing. The same can be said about our faith. Faith becomes real when it is tested. That's a truth that I must admit I personally do not like. The testing of our faith is hard, let's be honest. It is hard. But then again, this past month, hard as it was, it reminded me that being a believer is not about having a perfect month, is it? It's more about holding on when you don't understand, about choosing obedience when emotions are loud, because the emotions are going to be loud, sis. There's days when I've cried myself to sleep. There's days when I felt like, why does it feel like God is not paying me the amount of attention I need? I am a child in need. I'm like my daughter when she has, taken a misstep and fallen off to the ground. She needs me to run and rub the knee that is hurting. But sometimes it feels like the Lord is standing there and waiting for us to stand up and rub our own knees, isn't it? And in those times, obedience is hard. It is so hard. Trusting that God is present, even when He is silent, those are hard things. Yet again, Christianity didn't really guarantee us ease. If anything, it did guarantee the hard times. Jesus says, in this world you will have tribulation. Jesus tells us that there will come a time when we will be thrown into courts and prisons, and some of us are going to die for the faith. And the past month really had me thinking, if I were to be called upon to die for my faith, would I? Because living a life of faith right now is so difficult, it makes me cry. What would happen if I knew I was going to burn at the stake in 2 days? Would I still call on the name of the Lord? To be an adult. To be an adult. But I must be honest, I saw in the hand of God sustenance, even in these difficult times. And I think sometimes that's what we need, right? Just sustenance. If we have enough for today, we go to bed, and tomorrow will see itself. And even the tomorrow is just minute by minute, hour by hour. And sometimes that's enough. That's enough. I've also seen in God's hand a strength that I didn't manufacture. A peace that wasn't interrupted by the myriad of things that were going wrong in my life. In small mercies, the Lord carried me through entire days. Sometimes I sit back and I'm like, how did I make it through this day or that day? Quite frankly, even now the fires are going on around me. Yet somehow, in His mercy, here I am. Learning something really important. That God is not only in the breakthrough, He's in the becoming itself, the process. We normally easily just say, trust the process. Yet when the process really needs to be trusted and valued and seen for what it can achieve, that's always hard, isn't it? Well, if the past month or maybe the year has pressed you, if you felt stressed, stretched, disappointed, corrected, even a little lost, I can guarantee you now, sis, you're not failing. You are being formed, even in those hard seasons. I've learned not to despise the work, the quiet work, the small obedience, the slow growth. It's so hard, I must be honest, it's very hard, especially when you're a type A personality like me. Because we place value on how excellently we execute, on results, And I think this is one of the things that the Lord is pruning from me, from my character. The need to see everything done perfectly or not done at all. And He's teaching me that some processes just need to take time. And I have to be okay with a slow growth. And one of those slow growth moments I've seen is in the business that we established. We started a company with my husband, and I thought, well, I have this on lockdown. I will do the marketing, get on Facebook, spread the word, and do this and that and that. We should be going in no time. My dear. It took an awfully longer amount of time to see the first paying client, and to see the traction, and to see this being a recognized company. It took much longer than what I had anticipated. I had put in the work and put in all my timelines and everything in between. But then again, I've realized that through such things, God reminds me to always hold on to his hand, man. Yes, I may be brilliant. Yes, I may have the idea. But I'm only human. My strength is limited. So is my vision. But I can always hold on to him. He sees the end from the beginning. And he'll carry me through. That's a slow lesson that I'm learning. I'm learning it so slowly. And I constantly need to remind myself it's okay. It's okay to be slow. It's okay to not see the next step. Just take the one that is before you. And that's all right. To believe there's any sweetness that comes from crushing, it sounds crazy. But I realize that as the days go by, I look back at yesterday, at last week, and I realize maybe what felt like breaking then was actually shaping me. I know, I'm starting to sound like an adult. But that's life, right? The more we grow, the more we start realizing and appreciating certain things that we didn't before. And perhaps that's because we didn't have the blessing of wisdom. The wisdom that comes with age. So while I've been going through my hard time, one of the things I've learned to really appreciate, and I think I appreciate even more now and understand perhaps a bit better, is the blessing in honest, humble labor. We recently got some chickens, and we are excited to have egg-laying hens. We've added to our flock. And I realized just how much peace I had preparing the coop, putting them in the coop, feeding them, washing the drinkers, washing all the utensils that we put in the chicken coop. Sorting out through our food scraps and making sure they have good nutrition. I don't know what it is, but it just gives your soul this peace, this rest that your soul desperately needed. And I think I've begun to see what the Lord was doing when he said, get out of the cities and get into the country. Well, at least it holds true for me. I see how much joy it gives my daughter to go and feed the chickens. I see how happy I am when I make something from scratch and I know that whatever my family is eating, I know exactly what is in it. I know exactly how to protect their health as far as I can with what they eat. The joy that it gives me, it is incomparable. And so I realize perhaps this is just one of the many blessings that the Lord wanted to give to us when he said, get out of the city. Knowing that when the storms rage around us, and they are, look at the state of the world today. The wars, the rumors of wars, the economic struggles, the discoveries of some heinous crimes. So much is going on. It's like every alarm is blaring at us. One of the things I've chosen to do is to not spend my time checking on the news. By the way, I hate the news. I stopped watching the news many years ago. But even these links and these TikToks and YouTube shorts that focus on showing you what's going wrong around the world, I've chosen to protect myself from that. I do not sit and listen to that. I've chosen to feed myself more with songs of praise, with scripture songs, with learning how to memorize whole chapters. I've chosen to fill myself with baking bread from scratch and learning how to keep my sourdough starter alive. I've learned to enjoy the little annoyances that come with having a 5-year-old, having a peaceful life and impacting other people from a point of peace has become very, very important to me. And I think it is important to everyone, especially if you're a mother and you're nurturing little ones under your care. What you stress about, what you fill your head with, it impacts them too. Why not impact the world with positivity? Why not impact this dying world with care, with love? And so I've chosen. Things may be going wrong in my life. They are. From every direction. But I've chosen to rather turn my focus somewhere else. To feed my chickens. To help my daughter set up a stand and sell her free-range eggs. I've chosen to make body butter from scratch. I've chosen to make jam and to spend evenings playing tin cans with my husband and my baby. Because in that is a peace that surpasseth all understanding that the Lord wants for all of us. Well, until the next time, you stay blessed. And that's for the hair.